Welcome back to the Startup Show. Today we have Balaji Pasumarthy here, the founder of Golden Square Business Center in Bangalore, in India. And I'm so excited to have Balaji here. We'll get to know his message, his story, and how he did what he did. First of all, please help me welcome Balaji to the show. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Raam.
Sir, first, what would be, our viewers would like to know, what would be your message to the world? What would you like to say to that?
Okay, see, most of us, if you think of the word work, right, it is very unpleasant. Very rarely do we want to get up in the morning, Monday morning especially, and say, okay, I'm going to work.
Right.
So, my whole thing is that work can be a pleasure if done right. So, work can be a joy.
What can you join?
Work can be a joy. Work can be joy.
Right.
So, I think my whole message is it possible as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, to create an atmosphere where people really enjoy working. In fact, Monday mornings they look forward to it.
Mm-hmm.
And is it possible to create such an organization? And that's what, for me, entrepreneurship, my journey as an entrepreneur has been that.
Okay. So, how long have you been in Golden Square? Like, when was this founded?
Golden Square will be 20 years old soon. This November will be 20 years old. Yeah, so it is.
It's a long journey.
It's been a very long journey. Yes.
Right. Amazing,
Yeah.
amazing. So, how did you arrive at running this business? Like, what path brought you here?
Okay, it's interesting. So I might have to go a little, much into my past to kind of tell you why did I start this business. So I think growing up, I was actually a very, very poor student, very bad student. I remember, like others used to look at my report card and they used to feel good about their own grades. It used to be so bad.
Right.
So I must have been in the bottom of the class
I see.
and so on. And I grew up in Dhanbad, which is in the Kolli region in Bihar. Those days Bihar.
Oh, okay.
And I remember the one day that I was playing with I must have been around, in the 5th standard or something like that, 5th class. And I was playing with my friend, Rajat. And I remember, my uncle coming to me and saying that, Balaji, you are a bad student. And he is a good student. You can imagine, the anguish in my mind to be publicly told like that, But nothing really changed. My grades remained like that. I think in spite of my parents trying their best and teachers trying their best, I was in the bottom of the class always. Till one eventful day, what happened was, I remember we had shifted town, we were in Jamshedpur, and I had gone with my parents to see a movie in the club. And we were coming out of the club, walking towards the car, when I heard my history teacher call my name. And you can imagine a student like that, with parents with me, that was the last person I wanted to meet. And but there was no option. So my parents were there and had to, there was no option but to walk towards my teacher.
Right.
So I started walking towards my teacher. And what I was thinking to myself was, okay, I'll get another series of lectures that Balaji should work very hard, you should study, and you should be smarter. These are things that
Obviously,
people will say. And I was kind of bracing myself for these words to come. But then the teacher said, Balaji, you have done very well in your history exam. It wasn't even an exam, I think, history test.
Yes. Okay.
That was something very surprising to me. That I can actually do well in a test. And something shifted in my mind. So I kind of started thinking that I can actually do well in studies. So I started applying myself in school. I started, observing what the good students do.
Right.
I remember also reading a book which said how to be a good student. Very secretly I read that book. And very slowly and steadily, my grades started improving. And very soon, In fact, I did very well in school. I got into IIT, then got into IIM. And what I realized from that experience is that with the right mindset, and if you have the right methods and the mindsets, you can change the manifestations. The results can be changed. So, and I remember during those days, even while preparing for IIT, IIM and all that, it was my mother used to say, Balaji, don't study so much. But for me, I used to think, I'm doing what is fun for me.
Right.
It wasn't like work.
Exactly.
It was fun.
Right.
Okay. So this was the background. So results happen if you actually enjoy what you're doing. Right?
Absolutely.
But later, when I got into, from IIM, I joined my first job and so on. I encountered an environment which was very different. Which was very different in terms of the way the organization got work out of people. Typically, if you see, and this is most, I can't say this one organization, it's very typical in most organizations that you essentially use rewards and sticks, carrots and sticks. That is what you use to get work done. Okay, and so essentially you are doing work not because you like to do it or you want to do it, but because there's something at the end of it, either a reward or a punishment. So it was a very stifling atmosphere for me that this is how you get work done from others and do work also. So the first opportunity I got, I quit my job and I said, okay, let me start my own business. So that's how it all started off. Of course, at that point of time, maybe I didn't have this much clarity in terms of why I was doing what I was doing. But essentially, that was the motivator. Is it possible to create an organization where people really love to do what they do? That was the key motivator. So if you look at Golden Square, I think the last 20 years has really been an experiment to see is it possible to create an organization like that? Is it at all possible to, for example, in Golden Square, we don't have concept of attendance. Okay, imagine a service industry like ours, where we have to be available, open. It's a business center, so we need to be open and available for our customers at any point of time. But we don't have concept of attendance. Yet, I know that my team members work, at all kinds of time to make sure if there's a customer requirement, they're available. So how do you create an atmosphere like that? And they're there very willingly. They're there because they enjoy it. Right. So that has been my journey so far.
Amazing journey. So his history teacher changed his future.
Definitely.
So Balaji, what are you known for professionally? What do you have a knack for? If I had to just ask you that one thing.
Yeah. So for me, actually, the passion really is coming back to the joy at work. Creating self-organizing teams which are creating fantastic value for others. So that's my personal value. I do it whether it is with Golden Square or with my, with our BNI network, is the same thing. So is it possible to create a fantastic team where people are just enjoying what they're doing, creating value, self-organizing.
And you also told about you just talked about BNI. Can you quickly tell me what BNI is all about and what you are doing in BNI?
So again, like I said, it's all about finding more effective ways of getting things done. BNI, getting a customer is one of the most painful things in an entrepreneur's life, isn't it? Or any business.
Absolutely.
Making a lot of cold calls and getting a lot of rejects from customers. It's always not a fairly fun journey to get new customers. BNI actually makes it easy to get a customer through referrals. Because see, it's always better if someone recommends you to a customer than if you make a cold call. Right? So BNI is the world's largest business referral organization. It's 30 years old. And we started BNI in Bangalore around 8 years back. We have around 40 chapters,
Mm-hmm.
1,550 members. So yeah, it's doing very well, and several of our members get 100% of their business through the app. They don't do any other marketing
At all.
at all. Yeah.
Wonderful. Balaji, who have you worked for in the past? Like before you started your own journey, like who have you worked for in the past, and what did you do for them?
Sure. See, I haven't. Most of my career has been as an entrepreneur. So after my MBA in IIM Bangalore, technically it's PGDM. That's the actual degree you get from IIM Bangalore.
Right.
So after that, I worked in Hindustan Lever.
Hindustan Lever.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Unilever group.
Right.
Yeah.
So for how long?
For around 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was your first job, and
Yes.
right after that you started.
I started my
entrepreneurial journey. So how long have you been in the entrepreneurial journey? Like,
Yeah,
it's
around-
already 20 years now.
Yes, this is
Okay.
Golden Square was my first venture.
So 2 decades
Yes.
of successfully running
Yeah.
your own your company, your own
That's right.
industry. It's so nice. So what are you most passionate about professionally? Like, what most excites you about the work and the contribution that you can make? Apart from what you said, the job.
Sure. The joy at work, okay. So I think coming back to my passion, it's really about getting the best from people. I think what my history teacher did for
Right.
me.
Okay.
So I think a lot of my, what I do or what I focus on
Mhm.
is actually creating an environment where we can get best out of people. So that's my passion.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderfully said. So very well said. And what are you passionate about personally? Like what you really enjoy doing and what you can't stop talking about?
Okay, so personally, my free time when I'm not doing the work related stuff, I like to spend time with my family.
Right.
I've got a wonderful wife and two kids, both are teenagers. We spend a lot of time watching movies, then we go out for a lot of comedy shows.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so those are things that we do. Yeah.
So you've been an entrepreneur and you've been very successful in your personal relationships as well. What would be your 3 pieces of advice when it comes to relationships?
I think it's simply accepting the other person unconditionally. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. I think that would be the simplest thing.
Forget about 3 rules, there's just 1 rule.
Yeah.
Follow this 1 rule, you're all set.
Yes, I think
Amazing, amazing. So where can we find you when you're not working, like you said, like you watch movies?
Yeah.
And do you also move out of Bangalore? Like,
Yeah, I'm more related to work. Essentially,
Okay.
of course, we like holidaying as well.
Mhm.
Like to travel on holiday, not on work.
Okay.
I like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing, amazing.
Yeah.
So what would you, where would people find you on Sunday afternoon if they want to try to find you?
Mostly at home. Home unless somebody's invited me somewhere.
Okay.
I'll be at home. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you also cook?
I don't cook.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because so many people that I have, been interacting with
Yeah.
nowadays, especially after, I don't know, maybe it's the influence of the TV or the shows like this, they have started, men have started to,
But I
show
don't think my
everything.
wife is ever allowed in the kitchen. Yeah.
Okay. So how long have we, you just told us like it's been almost 2 decades working on this business. So have you seen the ups and downs?
Oh yes.
And
Yeah.
could you just briefly tell us about like how do you react when you're at high and how do you respond when you're at the downward? And how to turn this around? What do you do to turn this around?
So in fact, the journey as an entrepreneur, especially in the early days, it is tough. And when I started my business in 1995 December was when we launched the Golden Square first branch. I remember the interest rates itself used to be very high. It used to be 18-19% used to be the interest rates. And there was nothing called VC, venture capital, and all those things those days. There were just 3 VC firms. So the only option was to go for a bank funding. And things used to be really, really tight those days. And one of the things about one of the disadvantages possibly of having a degree from IIM and IIT and all those kind of things is your opportunity cost is very high. Because if you're an entrepreneur,
Right.
you're earning zero on day one, right? So the opportunity cost is very high. So one of the so when the chips are down and you know that thing, your business is not doing so great as it's you start comparing. One starts comparing and kind of saying, hey, it would have been better if I had been in a typical job.
Right.
Okay. And I used to get these offers from people, and from my own customer. They say, what are you doing here, Balaji? Why don't you come and join us? Kind of a thing. And I remember one day that one such offer had come, and I was seriously in this dilemma. Am I doing the right thing, continuing in business? And things went down that time. And I think that is when that serious introspection, what is this really about? Starts to make sense, that dialogue. It's very important, I think, for an entrepreneur to go through that phase. And I remember that at that point of time I made a decision that doesn't really matter how the business does. Okay, being an entrepreneur is the choice.
Right.
It doesn't matter whether the business is down or doing well or whatever it is. My only option is to be an entrepreneur.
Right.
I think making that decision, I think, is a very important thing. Because once I made that,
Right.
then I kind of said, okay, the only way forward is, to make things happen.
Exactly.
So somehow make it happen. That's it.
That's it.
So I think that's
Amazing you said, because I could relate this to the story of that king who wanted to defeat the other one, and they led his army and they just burned the bridge.
Crossing the Rubicon.
After the army crossed this bridge, they burned the bridge, ordered the bridge to be burned down because the only way for them to get back to their homes is to win the battle.
Yes.
If they lose, they're going to die. So they have to win the battle. So very well said. I think I could relate to that.
Yeah.
So Balaji, are you also involved in volunteer activities, non-profits? What are your preferences about those things?
I think my non-profit involvement is very little. I would say that I've done much. Apart from what I think a lot of people do, I mean, they have helped some students with loan, money kind of a thing.
Right.
Contributed here and there, but nothing really to talk home about.
Any awards or medals, medallions, personal? I know that being from an IIT and IIM is a big award, but apart from that, if you could recall.
I think so 20 years on my own, so there are very little awards, but I think some of the proudest moments for me personally is when being at Bangalore, won awards in our international conference. So BNI Bangalore is considered as one of the best regions in the world.
Nice.
So last November, we were there are 4 regions in Bangalore. So 2 of the regions were ranked second and third in BNI world out of so many regions. So that was a really proud moment.
Amazing. Of course, with people like Balaji at the helms, it's no surprise. With decades of experience, not years, we are talking here decades of experience, expertise, insights and perspectives, the forestry of how this all works. And you have been in Bangalore all the time?
That is in the last
So you call Bangalore as your home?
As my home now. I spend more time here than anywhere else. Yeah.
So your family, everybody lives in Bangalore?
That's right. Yeah.
What would be one thing that would be impossible for you to give up? Anything do you think that, no, I can't give this up? Maybe a habit or a trait or a principle or a policy?
I think my family.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Amazing. And how do you want to be remembered? Like people, I know, like being in the networking center of being a networking organization like BNI, you meet so many people. I'm sure you will not be able to remember all of them, but how do you want the others, like people who meet you, how do you want them to remember you as?
I think if people go back and say I met Balaji and he was helpful to me,
Right.
I think I'd be happy. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So helping is something which is, I believe it's also part of being in the networking. When you network other people, you help each other. That's all is being in networking about.
That's true.
So and anything else you'd like to tell the people about you, which I may not have covered?
What else? Okay. Nothing top of the mind.
Okay. Alright. So where can the viewers go to learn more about you? Maybe a website or a LinkedIn profile or Facebook, or how they will, if they want to get in touch with you, both online and offline.
Sure. So in LinkedIn, I think that might be the easiest. Balaji Pasumarthy. Pasumarthy is spelled as Pasumarthy.
We'll put the link here on the screen.
Sure. I think, and I've written quite a few articles, blogs, and so on. So they'll find a lot of things online. Yeah.
So if someone wants to come and meet you personally, where do they come?
Somewhere in Bangalore. Yeah.
Okay.
Just give me a tinkle and message, and I'm around. Yeah, I'll figure it out.
So if someone wants to join BNI, how do they do that?
Okay. So to join BNI, you need to get invited to a chapter meeting. So you could either, if you know someone who's already a member, reach out to them and they get them to invite you. Reach out to me. It'll be wonderful to get to know them better, and then invite them to BNI.
So this is the local chapters, means this is for people who are
in Bangalore.
If you guys are sitting in another country or another place, another geographic region, go to BNI.
BNI.com.
BNI.com is a worldwide website. Go to their website, find out whether you have a local chapter, and approach the local chapter and get it.
That's right. Yeah.
All right. And it's Golden Square. Does it have a website? If people want to come,
it's goldensquare.in.
Goldensquare.in. Okay.
That's the website. Yeah.
That's the website. How many locations do you have?
We have 4 branches in Bangalore, and a 5th one is coming up. So essentially, Golden Square has been home to a lot of. Golden Square is designed as a better office option for small teams than a regular office. So if you're a team of 1 to 10, in fact, Golden Square is cheaper than having your own office.
Alright.
So that's how we have designed Golden Square. Because what happens is, if you're a small team, having an office can be a big hassle. Starting from who opens the office, who cleans it up, who receives the messages, things like that. So we take care of all of those things, the office infrastructure, overheads, and so on. So our clients, we call them members of Golden Square. All they need to do is bring in their laptops, and that's it. Get started. Everything else is taken care of them for them, including reception services, office assistants. Simple. In fact, we have gone to the extent of helping one of our members finish the homework for their kid.
Okay.
Yeah. So to that extent, our team goes about helping our saving time, resources, which can be better spent on the key areas of work.
Right.
Essentially, that's where Golden Square comes in. And we have been home to a lot of new companies to Bangalore, including Dell Computers. Way back in 1996, there were just 3 people when they came into Bangalore. So they started here.
Yeah, they started.
Yeah.
Okay.
So a lot of new companies to Bangalore, small teams like consultants, sales teams. They use Golden Square. Then startups. And we make it very flexible, so you can use it for an hour every week, for example. Okay, and so a meeting room for say 3 people is just 250 rupees an hour. As that convenient.
Okay.
So
guys, that's less than $4.
yeah.
Nah.
Yeah. including Wi-Fi.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's an added bonus.
Yeah.
So I recommend this if you're, especially if you're traveling to Bangalore. I know some of you are traveling to Bangalore a lot of times, and if you need an office space, if you need a mailing address perhaps, or if you want to arrange something before you travel to Bangalore, or if you are in Bangalore, that's fine. Like you can, I especially recommend this for entrepreneurs, startups, and consultants, and especially in our speaking industry. I know a lot of you people are also traveling all over the world, and when you visit Bangalore, and if you want to have an office space in Bangalore for your meetings or for your, even if you can do video recordings like what we are doing. We are right now in the Golden Square Center, and we have an amazing place here to do the video. This video is being recorded in the Golden Square. I would recommend and encourage and urge you to pay a visit and also inquire if this is right for you by going to this website goldensquare.in. Alright. Thank you very much, Balaji, again for spending your precious time with us for the show. And I'm sure many of our viewers and readers of our articles are going to be truly inspired by your journey, and they look up to you. And if you have any questions to Balaji, put them down below this video here. And if not Balaji, I will read all these questions and pass it over to Balaji because he is a very busy man. So I will try to get answers for your questions through him, as many questions as possible. So go ahead, put in your comments, put in your links, put in your questions, and if you need to get in touch with Mr. Balaji, go ahead and do so. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
For Startup Show, bye-bye.